Here we go. So guys, this is a video that's been requested a little bit, so I've decided to make it. I need to caveat this, guys. I am not an elite player at this game, but I am decent, and I do have a good win record in clutch time in particular. We've only ever been reset twice, and one of those times was at the start of this season when it was the sweatiest thing I've ever seen. But generally, we'll win most of our games, and you've seen me winning terrible squads and things like that, and we still get wins most of the time. So this will help you. Whatever level you're at, I think there's things in here that will help you. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the settings. So we're going to jump into that. I'll slow this down. So there's a handful of settings that I will do. Jumping into the game plan. The key things are the first two, okay? On-ball pressure needs to go to smother, and off-ball pressure needs to go to tight. On-ball screen, I then go over. On-ball screen center, I go under. And then the other thing that I do is one more thing, which is drive help rules. I turn them off. Now, all of these things just help your defense be a bit less brain dead, is probably the way to put it. I'll explain more as we talk about the other things. So offensively, all I do is freelance hawks. That's it. That'll spread the floor. It'll put your players on the perimeter so that, you know, as I talk about the strategy in a second, you'll realize how important that is. But it basically puts 5 players on the arc and gives you much better looks. The adaptive coaching engine needs to go off, and that goes off so the other stuff works that we just did. And then help defense needs to go all the way down to 0 to stop double teams, which would leave people wide open, which in a mode like clutch time is not desirable. The other thing that I do, and I haven't done it in this particular gameplay, this guy's jumped into his settings, I'll explain, is I do change my matchups, okay? So you'll see I'm running Steph Curry, who's not ideal as a, you know, a primary defender. So what I'll do is always have one player. It's LeBron at the moment, but I've used cards like Scottie Pippen before. Kawhi's a great example. You need one player in your team. This guy, you can see he's got Giannis and Scottie. Both of those guys are elite on-ball defenders. So you want to switch that to your point guard and then move the other matchups around as best you can. So we win the tip, and now what we want to do is get into our freelance as quickly as possible. So I hit right on the D-pad. I go down to freelance and select hawks. If you don't do this, you won't get the floor spacing that you need. So just make sure you do that straight away and keep the ball moving so you don't waste that first possession. Now, slowing this down, you can see immediately we're looking for the corner. What people will do a lot is help. They will help from the corner a lot of the time, and it will leave you wide open. That's a great example of it. Now, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll basically dance around the three-point line to try and get good looks. And if you're elite and you're comp, that's fine. That'll work for you. But if you're not elite or comp, actually your best move is to get inside and then kick out. Now, with defense, you can see here, I'm not jumping. At no point did I jump. Now, there are times to do this, but if you jump and you miss, you're going to leave someone wide open. You're literally going to give out a free 3. And you can see again there, the corner sitting wide open. We missed the shot, but watch what we do now. We've clicked onto Kobe here, and you've got to remember, people will rush in this game mode. So your goal really is just to get in the best spot possible to stop that transition pass. So we clicked onto Kobe. You know, Yao was pretty well covered by Porzingis, and Kobe gets a stop. Now, he might have missed it, but there was a defender behind him. But people will play quicker. Remember, there's a 14-second shot clock, so people will be rushed, and they will try and make things happen quickly. So you saw him bite there, and again, that's not something you want to do, because it's usually going to leave an open look. Now, we are pump faking until someone gets open. We had 2 options there. We could have thrown out to Steph, or we could have thrown out to Kobe. Now, remember, this guy's done his settings. Nothing we can do about that. This guy's done his settings, so he will be trying to stop those corners dropping. But when you get inside, it just causes a defense to collapse. And the thing is, you get inside and stay there. Look at that. Again, despite the fact he's done his settings, he leaves us with another wide open look. So this is my game plan. Again, you can see we're putting pressure on him as he comes up the court. We're not giving him the time to settle back. Every time he gets the ball, there's a player in front of him. And you can see we pretty much click on every time to at least get a bump. It will stop him just breaking down the AI, and it will stop the AI being brain dead and costing you the game. So you do need to play some active defense in this mode. You can't just leave it up to the CPU and off-ball the entire time. So again, our goal is to get inside. Now, he's cut off that corner, so he read it that time. He knew it was coming. So we do need to change something now. It's why this game is so interesting, because he's got a great team. And he has got a read on these things. He does know what he's doing, and he's done his settings. So he should win this game. Now, variation is important. You can see here, we go around Jordan and then hit the behind the back to get ourselves in a better position to pull that defender. So if we just run, he might have stayed there. But because we used the behind the back, it pulled us into the paint, and then the defender came to help. Now, you saw there, we beat Jordan and then hit the behind the back to position ourselves. Now, I want you to watch this possession, because we do something slightly different to the same effect. So this time we go back to what we were doing at the start of the game, which is hitting the behind the back in front of him. So you do need to know basic dribble moves. Now, I could have pulled up and shot the ball there, but I decided to drive. This time you can see he's holding his corners. The corners don't drop, so we've got a wide open 2. But we're so far ahead already, we're up by 6 points, that there's not much opportunity for him to come back. He's going to have to play really well. And again, straight back to it. A mix between on-ball and off-ball defense. And now this becomes the time that we actually want to jump. You can see here, we haven't really got an alternative than to jump. I mean, even if we put an arm out with Porzingis, he'll probably still get beaten by Yao. So the only time is really when you are under the hoop and you're user controlling to jump. That's the only time that I would personally get up and try and get that stop. But you can see here again, like we've mixed it up a lot. He's in quite a bit of trouble at this point. So here you'll see a different look. So this time we're moving up the court with Kobe. And what I do is I'll use his step back. I do this a lot with Kobe because it activates an insane speed boost if you can get the mechanics just right and beat that guy. Now, again, we're driving in. He tries to drop with his corner there. You'll see Giannis is dropping. We could have kicked it out, but the game is at a point now where we've doubled his score. So the game's very comfortable, and we're very confident we're going to win the game. It's going to be harder and harder for him to come back. His squad, his settings haven't done anything for him. You know, we are in a very comfortable position in this game and expecting to win. So now I want to talk about jumping. So you see here, I jump with Giannis. I'm on ball, I'm user, and we jump. So remember the stop we just got with Porzingis on Yao? We get the same stop with Giannis. That's all about timing at the end of the day. It's always going to be a 50-50. Blocking is really OP in this game, so you're not going to get every block. But the only time to really jump is when you feel like you're guaranteed to give up a bucket. This time, again, we do something different. We've been pulling the floor. This time we didn't pull the floor. We didn't pass and screen away to separate. The pressure's still there on defense. So you can see he's incredibly uncomfortable a lot of the time. He can't get a read on defense because we're doing something different every time. And again, one of the mistakes a lot of people make is they literally run around the three-point line. Now, there are comp players out there that can do serious damage with that kind of meta, but there's not many people I play that can do it. You can see again, we used him and got the stop, but it gives away a foul. But there's not many people who could do it, who could really spam on that three-point line effectively. And when you know how to stop them, as long as you don't jump, as long as you don't take the bait, as long as you play a bit of on-ball, you can usually stop it. The key to this mode really is just giving different looks, being unpredictable, and just having a very clear plan about what you're going to do every time you go up the floor. So you can see again here, now he's playing a slightly different form of defense. He's trying to stop Steph getting inside in the first place, but it dropped the corner before we even got there, and it's a wrap. So that was the team of like Jordan, Yao, you know, Giannis. It was a really good team, but you can see exactly how we approach this to get the wins. Now, the team is really important. The team is super important. Like I said, you need a defender who you can put on board. I didn't do it in that game, but if I'd put LeBron on Jordan, that game probably would have been even a bigger victory. But at the end of the day, you need to be comfortable with the team. So people use Luka because he's like a cheat code. You can just pull up in someone's face and shoot. The thing is, people are learning to defend that. I've learned to defend that. Actually, I'm at a point now where when I see Luka, I'm pretty happy because I know what he's going to do, and I'll just on ball with Giannis and put my hand up. He's not going to shoot over a 6'11" Giannis. He might get a shot off now and then. But if that's his whole strategy to win the game versus what I'm doing, it's very unlikely he's going to win that game. So you can see my record, and like as I said, it's 480 to 163. Most of those losses, at least 50 of them, maybe 60, maybe even 50% have been error codes, and then we play stupid gameplays with terrible teams, which cost us games as well. But when we lock in, we usually do very well in clutch time, and we usually complete the run. Like I said, don't be predictable. Don't read the meta. Don't just do what that guy did, which is run a really expensive squad because you think it's the right team to use. I would use Steph over every single player he had on that team. And, in terms of, like, the meta, he's a significantly worse player and undesirable player. Not to me. Curry just gives me everything I need from a point guard. He's 6'3" with a 6'3" wingspan, but he moves, he's quick, his animations are good, his behind the back's really good, the Curry side will get you open and bail you out of situations. He's just got the animations that I need to do well in this mode. And like I said, every player on the team is kind of there for a reason. Like, I prefer Kobe to RJ. I think he moves a little bit better. LeBron is there to just play defense. Giannis is there to play defense. They'll both knock down an open three if I need them to. And Porzingis does the job as a center. Now, could I have a better team? Yeah, but I don't need a better team. I'm genuinely at this stage in the last... So I've gone 20-2. In the last couple of days in clutch time. So this team is just working really well for me. And actually, I'm probably playing better than I ever have in the game. Having a 90% win ratio is a big deal. So I know this will work. That's the video, guys. Until next time, thanks for watching.